Jahlil Okafor headed to Boston again. Ben Simmons makes the NBA equivalent of the all-fourth quarter team. And Kevin Durant is still talking. All that more in this edition of the NBA Files. Let's ball. What's happening, NBA world? It's that time again. I'm Kwame Fisher-Jones. This is Roy Burton, and this is a little thing we like to call the NBA Files. First quarter tip-off.
So,
I want to talk a little bit about Jahlil Okafor. I want to talk about so many different things, but I go to ESPN.com, and your man, Kevin Durant, is still talking.
Still talking.
He's afraid to come out of the house because he might get heckled. He can't go on social media. The decision was so hard for him.
Very tough decision, man.
How long? Is this the make of a champion? This much whining, this much complaining, this much sensitivity.
He's a. I don't want to make excuses for him. He's a very sensitive guy.
You don't need to make excuses.
Let me say this though. Like when you say it is the make of a champion, I really don't see champions act like this. Like when guys make a decision, they usually stand by it. They're up in front of the camera first thing and said, "This is my decision. You know, I'm gonna ride with it." Like they don't sit at home with their boy and play like Overwatch or Pokemon Go or whatever he's doing in his house. Like. It's
the thing that is driving me crazy about it though is he's still talking about it. It's over.
Well, here's the thing. Well, I'll make an excuse for
they're
him.
in Vegas now,
no, but they're in Vegas. Like he's the story of the offseason. You agree, right?
No, I disagree.
He's not the story of the offseason.
No, I think the player movement is the story of the offseason. Derrick Rose is going to the Knicks.
Who cares about Derrick? He is the story of the offseason.
I think free agency could also be the story of the offseason. I don't think it's Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant at this juncture has already made the decision.
Right.
He's already where he is.
Right.
I don't think he's a story anymore. I think he's cringing, holding on.
He's the biggest free agent who moved teams this offseason.
Okay.
He's on team. He's the best player on Team USA.
Okay.
We have the Olympics coming up, and there's a camera in front of him 24/7, 365.
I don't want to talk about it
for the next month.
I don't. I
know you don't want to talk about it.
No, I'm saying that's all he is. I don't want to talk about it.
He's always going to be in front of the camera, and at some point, you're not going to talk about, hey, Kevin, what do you think about Croatia in the tournament? You're going to ask him about this offseason.
You know, I'm a big Carmelo Anthony fan. The Knicks made a major move this year. Carmelo's still there, but this was when Carmelo started to fall, when he spent too much time going from one end to the other of talking about this player, that player, this issue, that issue, and that's what it's not about basketball. Conversely, you know who we're not hearing from? Russell Westbrook. Has he even done an interview yet?
I don't think so. No.
I mean, we're not hearing from Steph Curry. We're barely hearing from Klay Thompson.
Right.
But you know what we're hearing from? The one dude who doesn't have a ring. The one dude who went to the NBA Finals in a lockout-shortened season.
Whether you like it or not, he is the story of the offseason, and you're going to hear another month of Kevin Durant until the Olympics is over. So it's something we've got to deal with.
Is this the beginning of the end for him?
Oh no, not yet. I mean, you got to see how
you scoff at that question.
You got to see how it plays out. He's just getting started.
Well, okay, but what am I saying? How it plays out? We've seen this play out. He's had the talent in OKC, and
we haven't seen this play out with the Warriors.
So we're giving him one more pass. One more excuse. One more chance to fail. You know, and I liken him a lot to Carmelo because Carmelo was a guy who could score, wretched defender, but you could put him anywhere. He's probably a better scorer than Kevin Durant. I know people are going to kill me for that, but there's no place you can force Carmelo on the floor. There's places you can force Durant. Put Durant in the paint. You know, you got issues there. But the bigger thing, it seems like it's drifted more and more away from basketball for him. And going to Golden State kind of was a way for him to hide, if you will.
Okay.
Hide from accountability. Hide from the culpability, hide from being asked to do those things. And then we're hearing from Klay Thompson,
right,
and Steph Curry, oh, well, you know, it's all about who's hotter.
It's all about the team.
You know, it's all love.
Yeah.
Are you buying that, or are they trying to coddle girly man that's there? He's becoming girly man at this point. He's doing more talking than females when you break up.
But here's the thing, though. It's the honeymoon stage right now. Everybody says the nice things when you're together. You're always in love, and then you're still on the point where you can get an annulment. You're not even at the divorce
2 years
level.
in.
You're not at a divorce level yet. You're still at the annulment stage. So everybody's lovey-dovey. Everybody's doing it. You're still dating. You're still in that dating stage. Let them kind of get together, and then we'll see the true colors of the Golden State Warriors.
Write it down here. When, not if, when the Golden State Warriors do not win the NBA title, Kevin Durant will become the next Carmelo Anthony.
I don't disagree.
on the other segment, next segment, on the other side, we're going to talk about the aforementioned Carmelo Anthony and his kiss of death teammate, Derrick Rose. NBA Files.
Welcome back to the NBA Files. Roy Burton, Kwame Fisher-Jones. And we're going to switch gears from Kevin Durant to Kwame's favorite player in the NBA, Carmelo Anthony. I mean, there's a certain affection you have for Mr. Anthony.
Because he's champion.
You like Carmelo Anthony, J.R. Smith. I'm noticing a pattern here.
Champions.
Of guys who just jack up shots with no regard to human life. Much like Carmelo Anthony.
J.R. is still a free agent.
He is still a free agent. Could be a Sixer. We'll talk about that later.
Oh, Lord.
Carmelo Anthony. He is, I guess, he's still the focal point of the new look New York Knicks, a New York Knicks team that I think we both agree can be a playoff contender in the East. You think they could be a little bit better than a playoff contender in the East?
Well, I thought the Knicks, and they're already laughing in the background. I thought the Knicks were a 50-win team before Derrick Rose opened his mouth.
50 wins in this NBA.
Yeah, this NBA.
Not
this
2K17.
This NBA. Jeff
Okay,
Hornacek is a good coach.
Okay.
Derrick Rose can score. That's really all he does is get hurt and score.
That's all he does.
But as a non-franchise player, he doesn't carry the load. He's playing with a guy who's used to carrying the load. He can just run around and get buckets. Joe Kim is one of the very best setting screens, rebounding, boxing out, making sure guys stay in their assignment. I felt like they had the makings, and then Derrick Rose made a Vince Young dream team comment.
Couldn't help himself. Just couldn't help himself.
He was asked a question by Lon Whitaker, NBA.com, or Lang Whitaker, NBA.com, about what he thought the Knicks' expectations could be this year. What were his expectations? And some reason this dude morphed into, people are calling Golden State NBA record, 73-win team, and us super teams.
And us, in the same sentence.
I read it 4 times because I was like,
I went on multiple websites just to make sure.
You ain't played 73 games in 3 years total. How are you, but that's the mindset of Derrick Rose, and that's always been my issue with him. And like I said, he's a poster child of that new media, that anointment. A guy scores 30 points in 3 straight games. Oh, he's the greatest ever.
Right.
But, I thought they were a 50-win team. I think this was the kiss of death. I think this was the equivalent of what can go wrong right before everything goes wrong.
You're a little bit more bullish on this team than I am, but I'll agree. I think they're a playoff team in the East. They can probably be in the 40-win range anyway. I didn't think they were going to make too much noise once they got to the postseason. And now, like you said, with all the expectations placed upon them, and it doesn't help that they're in New York. It doesn't help that more than half the starting lineup is brand new. It doesn't help that Derrick Rose just introduced this, oh, by the way, we're a super team. Expect us to do great things against, LeBron James or whoever else comes out of the East.
Well, they only play LeBron 4 or 5 times out of the year.
Right.
That still leaves 75 games, 77, 74, 76 games where they could still do some things. Here, Jeff Hornacek, one of the better young coaches in the league. I think we agree with that.
Agree.
Okay.
Yep.
Joe Kimno, one of the better defensive-minded centers in the league. I think we would agree with that, right? All right. So you throw that in the mix. You throw in a Carmelo Anthony. I think we still would agree that he's a top 10 scorer in the league.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. One of the top and better offensive threats in the league.
Yep.
Derrick Rose walks into that situation, possibly rejuvenated. Then when he opens his mouth, you see it's still the same Derrick Rose.
Right.
So it kind of stifles any type of growth, any type of excitement or enthusiasm that I had for this team going in. So my question for you is, after said statement, where do you see this team landing?
I still think they're probably in that same,
Give me a seed, though.
7 seed. I mean, it's the East.
So you think there's 6 teams in the Eastern Conference right now?
I don't know if I can't expect Derrick Rose to play 82. I can't expect a team that has basically a brand new starting lineup to bring it all together. The only 2 starters held over from last year are Porzingis and Anthony. You got 3 new guys. Joe Kimno was hurt last year.
I completely forgot about Porzingis.
Yeah, I mean, Porzingis won the all-rookie team last year. I mean, you have a really talented starting lineup, but it takes time. Again, chemistry takes time. And this was a team that did win 30 games last year. But again, you bring in a bunch of new guys.
30 games is an accomplishment.
It is. We haven't won 30 games in a while, man.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. 30. I'm not lowering my standard. 30 games is abysmal. That's crap. But I get the premise of what you're saying. Look, if Derrick Rose plays, and it's a big if for him, and I hate, giving expectations contingent on if I want to deal with the circumstances. Take Derrick Rose out of the equation. Porzingis, Noah, Courtney Lee, Jeff Hornacek. That's a 50-win club.
Okay.
6 seed, you got Indiana, Toronto,
Boston.
Indiana, Toronto, Cleveland. That's about it.
Boston won, what, 54 last year?
Yeah,
56?
they did. What they do?
Okay.
So NBA Vibes, come back. We're going to talk more about the Sixers, a little bit more about the Atlantic Division. Welcome back to the NBA Files. Kwame Fisher joins Wood Burton. I'm going through looking for topics, and I see Tim Duncan has July 21st completely named after him.
Tim Duncan Day.
Tim Duncan Day. Stay with the Spurs' entire career, worthy of a achievement. But I started thinking about my 76ers, and I can't think of one player who was worthy of an entire day.
No Sixer player in history. This team's been around a long time. Like going back to the
Warriors,
the Syracuse Nationals days.
I could not think of one
There's no player who merits a day that the city of Philadelphia says, you know what, player X, this is your day.
I thought, and then I went through the landscape of the NBA. I said, all right, LeBron would be worthy of a day when he walks away.
LeBron's worthy of a day.
Kobe. Possibly worthy of a day when he walks away.
Absolutely.
J.R. Smith, we're not doing. But that's it.
You're leaving out a couple guys.
So I go through this. Okay, who would you say right now in the NBA?
Right now, today.
Maybe Dirk.
Dirk Nowitzki, absolutely worthy of a day.
It is an open carry state. So Texas and Dallas, where it is, so they're not the greatest thinkers. So possibly
best international player of all time, Dirk Nowitzki. Not worthy of a day. He gets a day.
No, because that's like saying he's the greatest midget in basketball history. That's not an accomplishment. The greatest international. Right. Who's he better than? Arvydas Sabonis?
Fine. Where is he all time in your list? It's all time.
Dirk?
Overall.
Dirk's a top 10 power forward of all time. Okay. But here's the thing. I don't quantify it as or qualified as the greatest international player. I think he's one of the greatest players of all time. He created a position that when you think about the quote stretch four position, I would say Bob McAdoo was probably your first stretch four in the way it's viewed, but Dirk basically revolutionized the position.
Agreed.
So that's one of that. But I don't know if I would give him a day.
You give him a day? If Dirk doesn't get a day, who gets a day? I mean, Dirk,
Kobe,
20
LeBron.
years with the Mavericks, one of the greatest players.
Okay, so you're giving Dirk a day. Okay, that's three.
Dirk gets a day. KG gets a day.
You're giving Kevin Garnett anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
Still playing in the league. Kevin Garnett does not get a day. He's played 62 years. He's got one ring. He's played 62 years. He's got one championship ring.
Kevin Garnett doesn't deserve it. If you're the mayor of Minneapolis, you don't give Kevin Garnett a day.
No. You got Prince, Jimmy. There's other things that come out of Minnesota that's not. No, Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett does not get a day.
I have an issue with that.
What's wrong with Kevin?
Because it lowers the standards.
Is he not one of the greatest power forwards?
No, he is. He's top 5 power forward of all time.
Is he not an icon?
See, that's a problem with him. This is a problem I have with NBA fans. The NBA Hall of Fame is littered with guys that should not be.
Oh, absolutely.
Mitch Richmond
should not be in the Hall of Fame.
Should not be resting next to Bill Russell.
No.
So to another level, Kevin Garnett should not have the same praise as Tim Duncan. They're not on the same level. Meek Mill said there's levels to this.
All right, so you need to be on Tim Duncan level to get a day?
Yes.
That's your. How many guys are on Tim Duncan level? Like 10.
Hence the day.
No, no.
That's the point.
You can get a day. Everybody gets a day.
No, we don't get. This isn't Burger. No, not everyone doesn't get a day. That's the point. That's what makes it special. Tim Duncan was that great, so he gets a day. Now, and that's why I said there isn't a Sixer that would warrant that.
If Tim Duncan's your bar, then you're right. If Tim Duncan is the bar, then nobody gets a day.
I don't know, championship, multiple 50-win seasons, always making the playoffs. Yeah, that's the bar set.
That's all right.
So if you're lowering that bar to include people, then what's the point of having the day?
KG is my bar. KG is my bar.
What has Kevin Garnett accomplished to warrant a day? Let's start there.
Kevin Garnett, is he not a top 10 power forward of all time?
That doesn't mean Bob Pettit's a top 10 power forward of all time.
Bob Pettit gets a day too.
All right, you're just giving out days. I'm moving on topic. Bob Pettit gets a day.
Bob Pettit gets a day.
So you're just retiring jerseys and giving days?
I'm giving days to Hall of Fame level guys.
Note to self, never come up with okay.
Hall of Fame level guys.
Reggie Miller gets a day?
Reggie Miller's not in my Hall of Fame. He's in my Hall of Fame, but he's not a day. Well, you know what? I take a step back. He's in the Hall of Fame. He don't get a day.
Think about that.
He don't get a day.
All right, think about that. So you're putting guys.
That's a personal thing. I just don't like the way he looks. That's personal.
All right. I don't know where to go with that. So we're talking Sixers. Who should get a day? Allen Iverson. You think he should get a day?
Well, apparently not. We have changed the rules on days.
I'm asking you, based on, but do you think
if I could hand out days, I would give Allen Iverson a day.
Wow.
I would give Allen Iverson a day.
Why?
I would get Allen Iverson is an iconic figure in Sixers history. He is. If you're a top 5 guy in Sixers history, I think you are in the conversation to have a day.
All right, so that's Dolph Schayes is getting a day, Hal
Greer
is getting a day, everyone's getting a day in Sixerland. That's why they've only had 350-win seasons in 30-plus years.
Nobody gets
nobody gets until
Doc doesn't get a day. He got a title.
He
got a bunch of 51 seasons.
Doc doesn't get a day.
They got to the finals
Guinness doesn't get a day. Bobby Jones doesn't get a day. As if it is say, when we come back, we're going to talk Jahlil Okafor going to Boston, why no one wants Nerlens Noel, Dario Saric, much more Sixers talk, NBA Files. Welcome back to the NBA Files, broadcasting from Gary's Barbershop, 12 East Main Street in Maple Shade, New Jersey. Wade Burton, Kwame Fisher-Jones. J.R. Smith is still available.
Still available. Free agent. Wonder why.
Deion Waiters is still available.
Also wonder why on that one, too.
Well, let's jump to that. Why are they available?
Because they are.
Waiters has been rumored to be going to the Sixers now for 2 years. Why are they still available, and what's their fear there?
Because they are wildly inefficient scorers.
Okay.
Who, for what they're going to cost you in free agency, probably aren't going to give you that kind of value on the court.
So you think Waiters' price tag is too high?
I think both their price tags are probably too high. I know J.R. Smith's asking for 15 a year.
He's asking $15 million for the Sixers. He's not asking 15. Like if the Cavs call, he'll take, like Ginobili took less to go back to San Antonio. But you want me to come to Philly and deal with that crap? Yeah, I want like 45 skillion. So that makes sense. But realistically, what they're asking for the Sixers is not what they're asking out there.
Probably not. Probably
okay.
not.
I'm just keeping it on the court, not price-wise. Deion Waiters, when I look at, you think about Deion Waiters, I see a guy, you said he's inefficient. I don't think he's a prolific scorer. So if he's not a prolific scorer, what does he bring? He's not a great defender. I don't know him personally, so I can't say he's a great teammate, but I haven't heard anybody say, yo, we want Deion back.
Right.
You know, where he's left, there's that, man, really missed that Deion. Man. So I don't see where the Sixers get from bringing him in.
Let me ask you a question. You asked me a question. Let me turn it right back around to you. You said he's not a prolific scorer. How many prolific scorers do the Sixers have on this team?
But that's why I mentioned J.R. Smith. I bring in J.R. Smith.
Okay.
At $15 million a year.
But just to go back on Deion Waiters, if you put him on this roster, and you rank the scoring ability of the guys on the roster, where does
Deion, black Nick Stauskas?
No, but where does Deion Waiters rank scoring ability to get buckets?
On the par with Nick Stauskas, maybe slightly more athletic. But, you know, and people pause like, what are you saying, Nick Stauskas? Yeah, Nick Stauskas can't put the ball on the floor. Deion can put the ball on the floor. They score different ways. But as far as basketball IQ, aggressiveness, knowing the moment of the game, knowing how to set a team up, how to set your defender up, I think they're on par with each other. Now, that doesn't mean that Deion's a bad player. I'm not saying Deion Waiters is a bad player. What I'm saying is his effect, his offensive efficiency is on par with that of a Nick Stauskas.
I agree with everything you said. But if you need somebody to come off the bench and get you, 10, 12 quick points, you don't have that right now.
But you don't know if you have that. It's a bench player.
No, but you don't like. There's nobody on this bench right now who you can count on to be your sixth man to come off the bench and give you instant offense. Deion Waiters can do that.
Well, first of all, Deion Waiters ain't you putting everybody on it because you got Embiid on the bench. Deion Waiters ain't coming to Philly to sit on the bench with his kinfolk in the crowd. You think he's going to pay 15, 20 minutes a year? See, that's enough. No, I wouldn't do that. And if I'm bringing him in, I'm bringing him in to start.
You can't start that. You can't start that dude.
That's why I'm not bringing him in, but I'm bringing in J.R. Smith because I can start J.R. Smith immediately. He's better than anybody you have there.
Smith,
so that's my point. So, Deion Waiters, I think, is available because he doesn't fit what the Sixers do. So people need to stop trying to push the Sixers onto him. Stop trying to tell me.
The Sixers need scorers and shooters. He's not really good at either one.
Yeah, there's a reason why she's still available at the end of the bar at 2 a.m.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Don't be deceived by the looks. But Smith, I think you bring J.R. Smith in, especially $15 million a year.
I think you know what?
If you're going to pay Ginobili $30 million, you pay J.R. Smith 15.
If I had to pick between Deion Waiters and J.R. Smith, I'm calling J.R. Smith's agent today. I mean that's an easy call.
So if you're the Sixers, why aren't you going after J.R. Smith? Why is that? I don't want to say rumor, but why are they not making an active run at him?
maybe they know something we don't. I don't know. Like, that's a very good question. I don't know the answer. I mean, they've been talking to Dion Waiters, and I haven't heard a single rumor about.
I don't think they're talking to Dion Waiters. I think Dion Waiters' people are using the Sixers to try to up the ante, if you will.
Okay.
Because if you're Colangelo, think about that. You could have him.
Right.
What's the conversation? What jersey number you want to wear? Realistically, what's the conversation?
It shouldn't take too much.
He's got no one else there. Ginobili, they offered Ginobili, what, $30 million?
30 over 2 years. Yeah.
Over 2 years.
Yeah.
Monday at noon. Monday at 11:59, he signed with San Antonio.
Right.
So all he needed to do was show the text. So Dion doesn't have anybody else out there waiting for him. Partly because it's the same effect that I said. It's got the same offensive effect on the game as a Nick Stauskas. And if you don't have Russell Westbrook or Kevin Durant to tilt the defense, he really doesn't give you anything. You do have a Jahlil Okafor, who's also being rumored to go places. Is he really going to go to Boston again?
Somebody's going to move. One of these big guys is going to move.
You're not going to be honest. Is Jahlil Okafor going to Boston?
I'm going to say 60-40 no. I think there's a chance. I think there's a good chance.
Who wants this deal to happen? Is it the Sixers or is it the Celtics?
I think the Celtics want the deal to happen. I don't think the Celtics are offering the Sixers enough to make it happen.
What makes that deal happen then?
I think the Sixers probably going to have to come down in their asking price. I mean, Jahlil Okafor again.
Negative.
Negative.
If I'm the Sixers, I don't do that.
That's the thing. If I'm the Sixers, I don't just make a deal just to make a deal. But I think that, after the draft and after free agency, they don't have the same leverage they had before. Like Phoenix probably isn't in the cards to trade one of their guys because Phoenix just drafted 2 big guys. You got a bunch of teams.
And I forget his name, but they had a summer league breakout player.
Right. You got a couple of teams who have addressed their big man needs in either the draft or free agency. So you don't have as much leverage as you had before. So now Danny Ainge is like, all right, we know you need to make a deal. We're here. We're willing to dance. Take it or leave it.
I got to crack it. What does Boston have? And you say the Sixers need to come down to asking price. I don't think. Perhaps maybe they were asking Boston for 13. It can't be.
You don't think straight up?
I don't subscribe to the where there's smoke, there's fire, because sometimes there's smoke and there's no fire. So I don't subscribe to that philosophy. But I do believe that someone, whether it's the Sixers, Okafor, or the Celtics, wants Jahlil in Boston.
I think it's the Celtics more than anybody.
Why? What does he bring to them that they don't? They just signed Al Horford.
I think Danny Ainge is just so hell-bent on getting that quote-unquote franchise type guy. Like that guy. So
why wouldn't he up the offer then? So you got to look. That's why I'm looking at it.
But if you're dealing with if you're in a position of power in a negotiation, then you're not gonna budge. Like he knows the Sixers have to make a move. You can't walk into the season with this many guys on the roster because you just can't divvy up the minutes.
Why are we not hearing anyone else? You said the Sixers have to make a move. I like 120 disagree on that. I don't think the Sixers have to do anything. I really don't. Isn't an indictment on Noel and Saric that we don't even hear a peep about teams interested?
No, I don't think so. I think the thing with Noel is he's got 1 year left on his deal. I mean, when he's a restricted free agent, like why would you trade something for a guy who's going to walk in 12 months?
Well, you don't know if he's going to walk, but you get that salary. Maybe you get rid of 2 dead contracts that are going to be there for 2-3 years when you have a new salary cap coming.
Yeah, but again, with the new salary cap, you can move these deals or whatever. If you're Toronto, because there was a rumor that Nerlens will be traded to Toronto for Terrence Ross, who's on a pretty good contract for what it's worth.
And why would Dwayne Casey want another inept offensive player?
But if you're Toronto, why are you giving up something of value in Terrence Ross or whoever it may be for a guy you can just sign next July?
This scares me. The Sixers have all these top 10 picks. No one wants them. No, sir, you're laughing. Terrence Ross is what you're getting for what was supposed to be the number 1 pick in the draft 2 years ago. Terrence Ross.
That's fair.
Quickly, what school did Terrence Ross go to?
Washington, didn't he? Washington?
Exactly. You don't know.
Yeah.
The point is, this is who they're trying to give you for Noel. That tells you something. We talked about Charles Barkley in the production meeting, and I said one of the way you can judge his worth is what other general managers thought about him. God, it was never traded for an all-star. Nerlens Noel was supposed to be the centerpiece of your team. And the most aggressive deal you're getting for him is Terrence Ross. You don't hear anything about Dario. They're talking about his mentality is going to help the young players. Okafor has been rumored to go to Boston, but we don't know for what.
Right.
That's pretty pathetic. And I'm excited about this season. This is my excitement face. That's pretty pathetic.
I don't think obviously the center's on the track. I don't think Dario's even in the mix. I mean, let's take Dario out of the equation. I don't think
top
you don't trade
lottery pick. People don't take him out of the equation. Nobody wants him.
You don't trade a guy that you've been sitting on for 2 years who was a lottery pick.
Who just signed a 2-year deal with an option on the second year. I think the Sixers.
He signed a 4-year deal.
I thought he signed a 2-year deal.
No, the regular rookie contract, 2 and 2.
2-year deal. I think the Sixers would have moved him in a heartbeat if they could find a taker.
I disagree. I completely disagree.
I think they would have moved
Especially
him
with Colangelo, who loves international guys. I completely disagree.
Yeah, and he got his fix with the TLC dude that you're all excited about.
Just you wait.
Wait.
Just you wait.
I'll be dead by the time he's any good. And Sergio Rodriguez, you got him too.
That's right.
Sixers. Ben Simmons made the all-fifth quarter team, and this dude is excited about that. NBA Files. Welcome back to the NBA Files, broadcasting from Gary's Barbershop in Maple Shade, New Jersey. Kwame Fisher-Jones, Jaleel Okafor's #1 fan, and Ben Simmons' #1 cheerleader,
Salute.
Wood Burton. Ben Simmons made the All-Summer League team.
First team.
Oh, okay. I'll pause. First team.
Please.
On the heels of this dude telling me last week that the competition in Summer League was terrible.
Terrible.
You stood up and clapped about this man making the All-Summer League team. Explain this, please.
I couldn't send you the text fast enough.
12 points.
When I heard about this.
Against bad competition, 12 points.
12, 8, and 5. It's beautiful numbers.
This is why the Sixers can't win a title. This mindset right here. That's good for you.
No, in all seriousness. And you know, just kind of messing with you. But
Two websites didn't even have him as the MVP, mind you.
Here's the deal. If it's so important for you that Ben Simmons plays every single game he can play in Vegas.
That gets his last.
Isn't it important that Ben Simmons excels against competition he's supposed to excel against?
Is that excelling?
He made he was one of the best 5 players in Vegas.
Against a league where you said those guys shouldn't even be on the floor.
There are 300 dudes out there. He was one of the best 5.
And 305 of them shouldn't even be playing basketball.
So
should be working at Walmart.
You can't have it both ways.
Yeah, you can. That's my point.
If
and first of all, 12 and 8 is not dominating. That's Charles Shackelford numbers right there. in the NBA, Charles Shackelford. So that's not dominating. But he didn't dominate, and that's my issue. And then he took a day off, as if he was dominating. He said, "All right, I gave you 12 points. I'm chilling." Who does that? Exactly. Who does that?
I know you want 19-year-olds to go to their coach and say, Coach, I don't care what you say. This is what I want to do. Because that's what you want 19-year-olds to do.
Mm-hmm.
But Ben Simmons, not that type of dude.
Okay. And that's fine, because the Sixers never get that type of dude. They always get nice, well-adjusted outside of Wade Barkley, guys that don't do those sort of things. But who wouldn't have sat out a game? Who would have raised
Buddy
Kane?
Hield, probably.
Kevin Garnett would have. You want to give him a day, he would have raised hell. Tim Duncan wouldn't have sat out. Tim Duncan stayed all 4 years because he wanted to master his craft. But we get a guy at 12 and 8, that's good for me. I'm going to chill.
All right, so if Ben Simmons didn't make All-Summer League first team, you'd be like, oh, well, Ben Simmons is not that good.
I didn't even know they had an All-Summer. And I'm going to indict myself right here. I had no idea they gave out trophies in Summer League. I had none whatsoever. All I thought you did was get highlights on YouTube. I didn't know they gave you all Summer League teams. I'm offended that you care.
You don't play just to play.
Okay, realistically, who was the MVP for the Summer League? Exactly.
They won what, the Sixers? They won what?
No, not for the Sixers. Who was the MVP for the Summer League that Ben Simmons played in?
Tyus Jones, whatever.
Exactly, whatever. Yeah. Where's Tyus Jones from?
Where'd he go to school?
Yes.
Where'd he
go to school?
He went to Duke.
Okay, and he's in his second year.
He's in his second year.
Never heard of this dude. But you know who brought Tyus Jones the title? Who gave him the title last year?
Oh, gosh.
Who did he win an NCAA title with?
With your boy Jaleel, my boy Jaleel.
The guy you want to get rid of.
Jaleel Okafor.
My point again, and you know who wouldn't have sat out a Summer League game? Who wouldn't have said, come on.
You didn't sit out last year.
Exactly.
No, I'm asking you. You didn't sit out last year?
He didn't sit out off of 12 and 8.
He didn't. I'll give you that.
Exactly.
All right.
My point is champions don't just come overnight. You have to have a mindset. You don't win a championship when the game starts. You win it at 4 in the morning when you're in the gym shooting jump shots. Then you hop in a helicopter to go kiss your daughters, have a good day at school, then go back in said helicopter to go shoot jumpers. That's what champions do.
That man was in 2 separate summer leagues this year. Led one in assists. Was the first team.
He's 6'10".
First team in all the other ones.
That's like the footage of Embiid dribbling. I don't want to see my 6'10" dude leading summer league in assists. You know what I want to see him do? Banging on people. That's what I want to see my 6'10" dude who couldn't lead his team to the NCAA tournament, said chill to the NIT, and then took a break in summer league.
So you're waiting for Ben Simmons to go, what, 20, 25?
I'm waiting for Ben Simmons to play.
You'll be waiting for a while.
Yeah, I know. And
okay.
I'm still excited about this season.
Readjust the expectations. That's all I'm saying.
I don't have any expectations, but I have frustrations. And those frustrations keep showing every time the Sixers bring a dude in. And at some point, you got to break that cycle. NBA Files.
Welcome back to the NBA Files. Roy Burton, Kwame Fisher-Jones here at Gary's Barbershop. And let's bring the subject back to Ben Simmons. Again, all first team of Vegas Summer League. Fresh off of leading the Utah Summer League in assists. So let me ask my man Kwame a question.
Do they give coupons for that? Like, what do you get when you win all Summer League? You get a car when you win all NBA.
I'm glad you brought that up. I know the champions actually get T-shirts, which is the lamest thing.
Say that again.
The champions of the Vegas Summer League get T-shirts.
12-8 in the league that gives T-shirts.
Get T-shirts.
12-8.
Can we talk a little positive for a second about Ben Simmons?
He had a nice lineup.
Were there some?
I think he got it from Garris.
Were there some things that you saw out of Ben Simmons that you feel are going to be positives going into the season? You
know, I like the fact that he acknowledged he heard the comments about him not being aggressive. I don't want a guy that acts like he doesn't, because we all, nowadays people, it was a time when it starts that I don't read the newspaper. Right. That's a lie now, because it's everywhere.
That's a lie.
You know what I mean? You may not read the newspaper, but you got my mother's left nipple tweeting you that you're garbage every day.
Right.
Like, you get that. LeBron, when he won the title, he had the T-shirt of him sipping tea, the popular meme. Like, you get that.
Right.
So I like that he acknowledged that. The passing is what comes easy and natural to him. I want to see him do things that don't come natural to him. That's where I'll notice the growth.
Okay.
The questions about Ben Simmons, in all seriousness, we agree they took the right guy.
Absolutely.
They should have taken him. He was the best. They took the right guy. I love Buddy Hield, but they took the right guy. But the questions for him are still there. Competitiveness, assertiveness, aggressiveness. They don't get better over time. They don't. And I still think he'll play 15 years in the league. Think he'll be a 4 or 5-time All-Star. He's not a franchise player.
But here's the thing. We've talked about this on the show before. We know that, I think we both agree that Ben Simmons wants to be an icon. Like, he wants to be thought of as a special.
I want Holly Berry and Janet from Good Times.
A special talent, right?
Okay.
He knows that he can't be that, averaging 10, 7, and 6. Like,
Does he really?
He knows.
So why
that.
take the day off?
He knows, because this is summer league in Vegas and he's 19 years old.
But it shouldn't matter.
And Lloyd Pierce told him, hey, you know what? You played enough. You cramped up game 1. We're going to give you a break.
It should matter. And I trust me, I fully 100% understand your point. I just utterly disagree with it. It's not the competition that should warrant how hard you play. You should want to take your opponent's head off because you're a maladjusted, evil curmudgeon. And that's all you want to do in life is win. You don't want to have a successful marriage. You don't want to be a pillar in your community. You want to sell sneakers and win. That's it. I mean, Steph Curry, if he had a little bit more moxie, a little bit more of a backbone, we wouldn't be hearing from Aisha Curry. It's the truth, and there's no disrespect to his wife or his marriage or his daughter. But these players nowadays, there's this, it's okay to not finish. I want to be liked. I want to be loved. I want to get a sneaker contract before I win a title. I want to wear tight jeans that are unisex. Like that. It's at some point,
Right.
You need to be a man, a head of household, and say, no, what's your name again, Coach what? You won't be on the Sixers roster if I'm not playing next year. You won't be in a team photo if you tell me to sit out another game. That's the dude you need.
All right, that's the dude you need. Let me ask you a question. How many of those guys are out there right now? How many killers, how many guys, again, skipping their kids' birthday parties to go put jumpers up? How many guys are out there right now? Because there ain't that many. I mean, I know back when we grew up, there was a league full of them. There's a bunch of guys back there who had that mentality. There aren't a lot of guys anymore. Kobe's gone. You know?
He gone. He ain't coming back.
Kobe gone. Kobe gone.
You know, it's a valid question, but you can't make that mentality,
right.
But you can force a guy.
Okay.
You can force a guy's hand and say, look, sink or swim. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's going to be really inappropriate, but I'm going to say it. You kick him in his butt and tell him he's playing. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm going to give a quick example. I'm going to give a quick example. When I was an intern at KTLA Prime News, right, I was excited about it. Major news, Keith Obernstar, I was excited about it. My first job was covering the Eagles playoff game against the Saints. Mm-hmm. Eagle game is over. Eagles lose, right? I'm disgusted. I can't believe they lost the game. Jeff Garcia let me down, blah, 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 blah. The producer comes and tells me, yo, you can go ahead home. You know, we don't need you. It's like, what? I've only been here 2 hours. Y'all here 24 hours. I'm here 24 hours.
Right.
That producer is now an executive for NBC Sports. Mm-hmm. I still talk to him this day. He references back to that moment. You have to want it even when people are willing to say you don't need to want it. Mm-hmm. He doesn't show that. He doesn't show that. I'm bothered by that.
Just because we don't see
Hold that thought.
Okay.
Hold that thought. We'll come back on the other side and talk a little bit more about Ben Simmons and the fifth quarter awards. NBA Files. Welcome back to the NBA Files. All right, this is the end on Ben Simmons. I'll give you the final word on Ben Simmons. Obviously, I have an issue with the mentality that's probably going to be there throughout his career. Mm-hmm. All right, you're saying all summer league and the free T-shirt is an accomplishment. Give me right now, based off what you saw freshman year in my summer league, mm-hmm. What do you think Simmons' final year will be, or his final numbers will be this year, rookie year? And will he win rookie of the year?
Will he win rookie of the year?
No.
Yes. Yes.
Liar.
Yeah. Liar. I'm making a prediction, and
you don't believe that,
and I'm a liar.
You won't even look at the camera when you say it. You don't believe that. But go ahead,
yes,
I'm
yes. 13 points, 6.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists.
If Ben Simmons averages 13 points, he should be traded immediately for that second-round pick that they're offering for Noel.
Everybody's got to score on this team, man. You got other guys who've got to score.
No, they don't. They're not the number one pick in the draft. They don't. You don't get to do anything.
Have you forgotten about the center who claims is going to start?
We're going to talk. See, I don't think Ben Simmons. At some point, if he gives me 13 points, he's a mistake. We're going to talk. I want to talk about something.
Okay.
Kobe Bryant.
Yes.
My man.
The man with the killer instinct, which you think is in every player
man that wakes up mad
because
because the toilet seat is cold. That's
right.
the dude I like.
You know what Ben Simmons does? He has a heated toilet seat.
I mean, he's probably got one of them cloth ones that you probably the plastic one sit down and sucks the. All right, anyway. Kobe Bryant writes a manifesto. Not Sam Hinkie style, but he goes over his mistakes and different things that he had in his career. Mm-hmm. And I was wondering, we're Sixer fans.
We are.
Diehard Sixer fans, despite our differences on Ben Simmons and a lot of other things that are relevant, me being right, you being wrong. 21 years. Give me your two biggest Sixer mistakes.
You know, it's funny because as soon as you mm-hmm. broached the topic to me, I think the first two just came right to me, and they happened right after the Kobe Bryant thing. They happened 2 years in a row. 1997, drafting Keith Van Horn and then trading him for Tim Thomas.
Only to trade back for Keith Van Horn.
Instead of drafting either Chauncey Billups or Tracy McGrady. And then the next year, when Paul Pierce is on the board, Larry Brown decides to promise Larry Hughes and then follow up on that promise and take him.
That's such a cop-out, too. Like, Larry Hughes.
I promised a 19-year-old kid from St. Louis that I was going to take him. Instead of taking Paul Pierce, perennial All-American.
That's such a female genitalia way to cop out.
Come on. Like, you really passed up two Hall of Famers. Like, you really did.
NBA Boss, come back. We're going to talk more about the Sixers, a little bit more about the Atlantic Division. when I gave you the topic, I knew you were going to go surface level. Mm-hmm. But as a Sixers fan, I dug deep.
You went deep.
I went deep.
Okay.
2 biggest mistakes. My first big mistake was getting rid of Derek Coleman.
Oh.
For
okay.
Matt Geiger.
Okay.
Here's why.
Okay.
Allen Iverson, I referenced this before, was never a head of household.
Okay.
He was the spoiled, talented child.
Agreed.
He needed that father figure. He needed someone to step up and say, that's enough questions. Mm-hmm. He needed someone to grab him and say, dog, you're saying practice a little too much right now. Mm-hmm. Derek Coleman was that man.
Okay.
People didn't like Derek Coleman because Derek Coleman was a malcontent.
He was.
But when you talk to people that knew Derek Coleman, to a man, they love Derek.
Yeah, like very good rep in the league.
They love him.
Yeah, man.
You bring in Matt Geiger, who sleeps on Allen Iverson's couch. No, seriously, he was. You know, Allen automatically was thrusted to the head of that team.
Right.
When he wasn't ready.
Right.
He wasn't ready, and I don't think he ever became ready to say, you know, the practice rant. What he was really saying was, no matter how many hours I spend in practice, Eric Snow ain't consistently hitting a jump shot.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But. And I think that was a major shift in his career because you brought in a yes man and got rid of a no man.
Right.
And you think about this lineup: Aaron McKee, Theo Ratliff, Derek Coleman, Allen Iverson. That's not a bad lineup.
It's not bad at all.
You know,
it's not bad at all.
The Pistons beat the Lakers. Rasheed Wallace, Derek Coleman is not much of a difference. I mean, maybe Rasheed was a little better defender.
They were actually a little bit better, but still.
Yeah, Derek was probably a better offensive player.
I see your point.
The second one, no one ever talks about this, and it blows my mind. Letting Chauncey Billups walk for Greg Buckner. They had an opportunity to sign Chauncey Billups. Mm-hmm. They didn't want to pay that much money. They decided, well, I take that back. I don't know. I wasn't involved in the negotiation.
Right.
So I don't know why Larry Brown decided not to do it. But what I do know is he passed on Chauncey Billups for Greg Buckner.
Yeah.
Another dude that would have said, Allen, chill.
Right.
Come to practice.
Right.
I'll go get him.
Right.
He's going to come in here and stop eating Taco Bell. And it was funny. It's a poor analogy, but, I'll go with, your phrase, you give a person just enough rope to hang themselves. Mm-hmm. They always gave Allen rope.
Yeah, they always gave him rope.
And they never brought anybody to say, why do you keep entrusting him?
Right.
Those were the 2 biggest mistakes that cost the titles. Paul Pierce, we don't know what Paul Pierce would have been playing in Philly. He had his problems in Boston. He got stabbed, almost died his first few years. They struggled for years with Paul.
But you don't think Paul Pierce and Allen Iverson together would have been something nice? Or Allen Iverson and Chauncey Billups back in '97 when you could have drafted him. They could have done something together?
No, because I trust the process. And the process of growth. And at that NBA, Derek Coleman, the things that Allen did his rookie year with Derek and Derek Coleman pushing him. Mm-hmm. I mean, that just doesn't go. To me, that would have been something special. And then seeing where they went, Barkley habitually lost to Michael Jordan. Allen was going places. They were ascending. So, yeah, I think those were the 2 biggest mistakes they made in 21 years.
Okay.
Because they had their franchise guy. You just needed to surround him with talent. Jerry Krause never gets credit for general manager, but he knew that there was no way Michael Jordan could play with an alpha male.
Right. I think that's where we both agree. They had the guy. Mm-hmm. The problem is that whether through trades or free agency or drafts or whatever, they didn't surround him with the talent, to make that leap.
R.C. Buford, knowing that Tim Duncan is a guy that shies away, you can't have assertive, aggressive party guys around him.
Exactly.
Tony Parker's a party partners in other countries.
Right.
You know what I mean? You bring in a guy Ginobili, David Robinson, guys that were family dudes. It's just you have to know your superstar.
Exactly.
You needed those guys. And Derek Coleman was perfect. And, it pissed it away for Matt Geiger and so many other bad moves. God, Todd McCullough. It just goes on and on and on with Larry Brown. The worst general manager in NBA history and in Philadelphia history, bar none. That's it for this edition. Our final buzzer has sounded on NBA Files broadcasting here from Gary's Barbershop, 12 East Main Street in Maple Shade. For Kwame Fisher-Jones, that's Roy Burton. Make sure you check us out on Channel 22 at 10 p.m. And always go to thenbafiles.com for unseen overtime footage. Until then, I appreciate your time and year.